I'm Insomniac.
And I'm Pops.
And this is Shooting the Shit,
a.k.a. Chatting with Pops.
Was good.
Now that one was pretty decent. I'd like to see something.
This is episode 11 of Shooting the Shit, a.k.a. Chatting with Pops. And today we have two topics, both from the same person. Not exactly related. Well, whatever. They'll fill enough time to make an episode. They're both from Chris Graham. The first one is what era you feel that you should have actually been born / alive for and why. And the second one is what famous person's life, dead or alive, you wish you could have lived and why. And again, those are both from Chris Graham. Alright, so let's start with the one about what era we would have liked to have been born in. When would you have liked to have been born?
The 50s. And the 50s was a time, I mean, I was born 60, 61, but the 50s was a time, even learning and looking back through history, where our country, no fucking questions about it, was at its tops. We were it. America was it. You know, we were the shit. Mothers stayed home, fathers went to work. All the old cliche things that one might go, wow, this guy's a mill show. It was a great time. Everybody went to church. Everybody had some sort of form of godliness, and you know, you sure weren't put down upon for being a Christian. You know, I mean, I could get into details about the 50s. It was a beautiful time. Also, you know, I look back and like one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid, true story, was Happy Days, and the whole depiction of the 50s and the Fonz and Richie and the good old American middle class. It was a beautiful time, and I loved all that about it. It was so many things I really felt came out of the 50s, even like we're always talking about music. You know, the real blossoming of rock and roll, and I don't know. I found a lot of things cool about it. The dress. It was just a wonderful, simpler time. I would have liked, to have grown up then. I don't know. I don't think people doing drugs. It was a rare thing. It was a simpler, nicer time, and that's definitely where I would like to have grown up. The Fonz was cool. Anyway,
at least there were morals in the 50s.
Well, yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make here. Oh yeah, what the fuck happened to this country? Anyway, let's have another topic. Go ahead. When would you, I think you mentioned something about the 20s one time, didn't you? I edited it out.
Yeah, I did mention something about the 20s once. I mean, I guess he could just do my part too. I would have specifically liked to have lived in the 20s in New York City. That's when, I've always had a fascination with the city in the 20s. I still have a fascination with New York City. Luckily, we live 20 minutes from it.
Daddy does.
So I spend a lot of time there. But the 1920s just seems like the real explosion and I guess kind of pinnacle of the beginning of what the city is now. That was of course the era called the Roaring 20s, and everything was just, it seemed like everything was bright and happy and beautiful and things were doing well. People were flourishing. Obviously this is before the Great Depression.
Right.
Companies were creating some incredible things at that point. Everybody dressed well. I mean, even like poor guys dressed better than we dress today. Everybody had some kind of class. The women were always, decked out to the nines. Drinking was illegal, but, you had all those speakeasies and cool clubs and, there was just so much you could do. And the city still had that kind of hectic bit of electricity to it, but it wasn't the same as it was today. Because one thing that I find interesting about the 20s, and something that I kind of look at, I guess, romantically, if you will, is the fact that you didn't have all the technology. So you kind of had all of the fun and all of the cool stuff and the cars and clothes and get-togethers and parties, but not everybody was distracted by cell phones. There weren't screens everywhere. You actually had to look at the lights and the sights and the architecture, and there was a different kind of craziness that wasn't all wrapped up in technology, and there's something a lot more pure about that.
Yeah.
I won't bore everyone with a breakdown of the 20s versus the almost 2020s that we're in now, but there are a lot of similarities, but a lot of the annoyances that we have now are kind of subtracted. And a lot of things that he was bringing up about the 50s, of course, were true about the 20s, because, I mean, there wasn't some giant moral decay in the early 1900s, and then it cleaned up in the 50s. People then, obviously, had moral values, and, the country really was about freedoms and economic growth and opportunity and freedom of religion. And, so, I mean, the whole country, obviously, although underdeveloped compared to now, was different, but the city in particular, there's just something really bright and shiny and cool about the city in the 20s. And I've read quite a few books, that are in that time period. And I don't know.
You read books.
That just seems really...
we read books.
I read books. What's wrong with reading some books? No, not history. No, like books that people wrote from back in that era. I don't read history books because that's a lot of bullshit.
Well, I'm with him there.
The 20s were also kind of on that borderline, though, where you did have some of the modern conveniences I wouldn't want to delete. You had cars, you had telephones, you had electricity.
Right.
I wouldn't want to go back to when there were horses and buggies and lighting candles, and I don't find anything romantic or interesting about that shit. That just seems like you're in survival mode every day. I wouldn't be able to do that bullshit.
Well,
so you had the technologies or the conveniences that I would want on a minimal level, and then the rest of it was like actually live your life. The 1920s for me in New York City, that's when I would have liked to have been around.
So should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, which I'm also glad he's starting this one, because I don't have an answer to this one, which was
I do.
If we could have lived one famous person's life
or dead or alive,
who would it be?
Yeah. This one I thought about, and Billy Graham. Billy Graham, the evangelist. Oh. I'm starting on Billy Graham, the evangelist, and he's breaking out the flask. He's breaking out the drink. What? Why couldn't you do that after I started on this?
Allergies.
Yeah. You better watch out. You'll have a real allergy. Bafangul. This kid's unbelievable.
Much better. Notice my voice got better already. No, it didn't.
Your sister's ass got better.
This turned into a Kentucky version quick.
Yeah. Every week he has to do this shit. Fucking A. All right, listen, I'm going back to where I was going. Wow, and it threw me all off track worse than ever here. Billy Graham was, bar none, the greatest evangelist of all time and maybe forever. And this is a man who got out there and simply gave the most simple message of Jesus Christ. Simple. Went out there. He was a great man. There was never a scandal pertaining to his ministry and him. He was a great man, and he was revered and honored by everybody, and still is. What he did and how God used him, this is a man I really respect, and that is a guy's life that I would like to have lived.
That's a good pick. The dead person I would have liked to have probably tried to walk in his shoes is Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, not just because he was famous and he was a great singer, but because that guy seems like he has a lot of secrets. He seems like he's been to a lot of places and done a lot of things.
Oh, he had secrets, all right.
And stuff that isn't even in the speculation in the books. I think that guy, I almost feel like his fame as a singer was almost like a front for whatever his actual life was.
Yeah.
Fucking Frank Sinatra.
It's a good pick.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Actually, fuck the one that I had for the live one, because you know what? I was thinking about it a little bit more now, and I don't really care. But the almost dead one, because he keeps almost killing himself, I wouldn't mind being the best race car driver in the world, so I'm thinking Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher was always my favorite Formula One driver. He's also an interesting guy. Although, well, no, maybe I wouldn't want to live his life, because the guy keeps hitting trees on skis and every other thing and almost killing himself. So actually, wait, I don't want all that pain. So you know what? Yeah, no, fuck Michael Schumacher.
Wow.
So, no, I don't want that.
Wow, Mike, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're amazing, but no, I don't want to live your life.
He switched up.
Maybe if I could live Michael Schumacher's life and never fucking go skiing, maybe.
Forget the skiing. Just the guy.
He keeps almost killing himself with the skis, not on the track.
Oh, that I didn't know that.
He keeps getting in skiing accidents and being on life support.
Wow.
And shit.
What?
Fucking A.
Stay off the skis.
Yeah, get back in the car. So, and anyway,
can I go with my live one?
Let's just go with Frank Sinatra. Who's your live one?
I didn't think a lot on a live one, but I have to say, here I am back to Carter Buford.
Let's throw a monkey wrench in here real quick, though. Somebody, I don't think you saw the comment. Somebody commented on the fact that we were talking about him last week and said Neil Peart's the best drummer in the world.
No. Neil Peart don't touch Carter Buford, but forget about it.
Agreed. Neil Peart is a great drummer.
He's phenomenal.
He's not in my top even 5, actually.
Let me go. Let me go back to Carter Buford. This guy. Number one, the whole idea of any drummer, they got their life together, they're not banged up, doing drugs, alcohol, just out there touring the world has always been, my heart's desire, and that's a long story. So that's key there. But Carter specifically, this is a man who plays, and he is happy, he smiles, he chews gum and blows bubbles, he's just happy. He's there, he's in it, he's in the moment. When I see him, that's what I see. He is an inspiration to me, and this is a man who's a little younger than me, I believe. From behind him, when he gets out from behind the drum set, he's that same happy man. I showed you that picture of a friend who ran into him in the city, and he was smiling, he had his gloves on.
He's always
and,
happy.
Well,
if you're the drummer for Dave Matthews Band, how could you not be?
Boy, would I love, I would love for Carter to see some of this stuff. He's a happy, well-rounded, mean machine of a drummer, and a hell of a beautiful human being. I believe that. So that's my choices.
So yeah, this was a pretty interesting episode.
Yeah, I thought. Not so long, not so funny, but we're not here to be funny. We're here to talk
right now,
about
it's all
things.
about the discussions. Although, like I said last time, for those, because a lot of people loved episode 6, for example, where we went nuts on modern trends, stuff like that. If you do just want to see us go complete ignorant and just go handballs on some shit,
that wasn't my intention.
You're gonna need to suggest some topics that are a little bit more ridiculous. Not that we mind these topics; these are good topics. No. I enjoy discussing them. So
thanks for making me think about, I like them too.
Yeah, thanks for making him think. I do enough thinking all week. I don't want to think about anything.
That's right.
No, to be honest, and I know we were almost kind of closing the episode, but I have to say, from the time I read that question, my automatic answer actually wasn't anybody. It was I wouldn't want to live anybody else's life. Yeah. I guess it's fun to speculate on.
Right.
But I don't wish I was anybody else. I'm not where I want to be, but I feel like, I don't know, that was somebody else's experiences in life, and I gotta do it my way.
He's right.
My way.
Right, my way. Back to Frankie.
Sinatra, didn't it?
Yeah, Bafangul Frankie. He didn't do shit his way. But, he thinks he did.
Yeah.
But, realistically, I'm gonna knock the question there, but I like these introspective topics, because it makes you think, and
I like to have just about anybody else's money. But otherwise, I'd like to be myself.
What the fuck? This guy, he just said, he's gonna think now, I think too much. Exactly.
There's a lot of questions I don't like. I'm not gonna just pick the ones I like.
Well, hey, like I said, we appreciate the viewers. All right.
We've been closing
the
this
last
episode
10.
We've been closing this episode for a while.
All right, let's wrap it up. I think it was a good episode.
Yeah, if you want to suggest more topics, leave them on Patreon. I'll add them to the list. You guys know that I always communicate with anybody that leaves a topic. There were a couple suggested recently that I couldn't use for one reason or another, and I did let you guys know that. But the ones you've already suggested are still on the list. These weren't even suggested in the last week. These are from at least a few weeks ago. We'll get to them when we can get to them, and like he said, we appreciate everybody's precipitation. Jesus.
Yeah, that's it.
Participation.
There, we almost said it together.
Wow. And all right, great. I'm gonna go drink some coffee.
Yeah. Notice he's going to drink coffee. No booze, Bafangul.
No, I'm gonna put the rest of this in there.
Great. You should stick it. Never mind.
Okay,
let's wrap this up. We're out.